a street in London that represents many countries of the world. This street is neither pretty nor posh. But if you look carefully and understand this bustling and busy shopping street, you will find here a microcosm of multicultural London. Impressed by the abundance of ethnically diverse shops and restaurants, I embarked on an exploration of Blackstock Road. The route leads south through the middle-class highlands of Highbury. But this section is mainly working-class London, with a mosaic of nationalities who travel from the transport hub of the Finsbury Park area to shop or work in the various businesses. One reason for this multi-ethnicity is the nearby mosque, which acts as a magnet for Muslims, or the low rents of some shops. In addition, the proximity of the Emirates Stadium or the home stadium of Arsenal Football Club is also important. Which brings crowds of football fans looking for tasty and cheap food here. But now the area is changing and people of other nationalities and religions are moving in, including young, hip Brits. More than a third of Londoners are now foreigners, representing 270 nationalities. Family businesses dominate the 1-kilometer stretch of North London, with only one small supermarket finding space. My first stop was El Bahia, an Algerian butcher and grocery store run by 3 brothers. Their names are Hakim, Kamal and Fatah Mokrain. We started a halal meat shop in 2006, but I've been in London for the last 30 years since the Algerian Civil War, said the confident Hakim. In colloquial speech, his accent is pure London, with a mixture of the accents of his own language. They love to interact with their customers. He said that not all his customers are Muslims. We want all kinds of customers. After all these years we now feel part of the community. He said, here I found a culture with a different way of life and a different language. I was schooled in French in Algeria, so I speak French more easily than Arabic. But I wanted an alternative. I studied international business law at university, then carried on the family tradition by opening this shop. There was competition between North African olive oil and bags of Moroccan couscous, along with a refrigerated counter of dates, baklava, Spanish dried figs, French cheese and spicy merguez sausages. But the most famous was the spicy roast chicken. Across the street I saw the Ethiopian Cafe and Deli Street. Gabriel. This father and son shop is the oldest on the road, having opened in 1976, when it was the red light district. Its owner, Muhammad Aslam, is a jovial man, and his son, Khayyam, is from London. Born in Uganda, Aslam moved back to Pakistan as a child and later moved to banking in Lahore. Full of energy, worked even while talking. When I started, the customers were mainly Caribbean and British, then West Africans, Bangladeshis, Somalis and Algerians came. Now we have Ethiopians, Colombians and quite a few British people. He said, we should not depend only on one community in business. Just opposite is a Uyghur restaurant and takeaway run by a husband and wife. Abdul and Rose Axmo came to the UK from persecution in Xinjiang, an autonomous region in northwest China, and started the business 7 years ago. Uyghur cuisine is one of the most delicious cuisines of Central Asian cultures. Here you will find handmade flat noodles, meat samosas, dumplings, eggplant stew, rice pilaf, chili chicken and spicy lamb kebabs. Rose Exmo said that this is his best dish. He said that preparing all these dishes is tiring work. But we love our customers who come from outside London too. Next to the Algerian and English cafes is a popular Chinese hardware store called Mix, which stocks almost all household items. Mrs. Saul Lee opened the shop in 1979 after coming from Hong Kong. Along with him, his 2 children also run this shop. In front, La Princesse, an Algerian cake shop, displayed the most beautiful creamy cakes in a display case. Next to it is a Palestinian eyeglass shop. But I was drawn to a small takeaway shop. Babin Kainan, where customers chatted at the door. The place opened 5 years ago. An offshoot of Malik Tahiri's family business in Iranian Kurdistan. Falafel, kebabs and kebabs can be topped with sesame, za'atar, chili, garlic or cheese on warm naan. After that, I passed by an Italian restaurant. This is a 20-year-old restaurant that Antonio runs alone. In contrast, there is a famous Turkish restaurant, Yıldız, which employs 10 employees. Here I spoke to Malik Jordan's young son, Uygar, who, despite 20 years in London, still speaks limited English. He said that maybe 10% of our customers are Turks. The rest are people of other nationalities. This is an Akbashi charcoal grill, famous for its lamb and chicken kebabs grilled over coals. They also serve hot and cold meals, vegetable dishes and fresh fish. We buy meat from Smithfield's market, mainly Welsh or Scottish lamb. And our pita bread is made fresh every morning. Güzel said. No one goes hungry with Yıldız. The aroma of roasting meat wafted across the street to Sultan Carpets, a business started by 3 Eritrean brothers who fled their country during a war with Ethiopia in the 1990s. There was also a beauty salon next to it. Mix is a popular Chinese hardware store that carries almost every household item imaginable. Between these representatives of Africa and Asia, there was also a representation of Europe. Margot is a fashionable hairdresser owned by a French woman. He says that I came to London by accident 8 years ago. Opened this salon and never looked back. London is a very progressive city. But I particularly like North London and Blackstock Road, he said. Everyone here respects other communities, I feel safe. Speaking of food again, I ventured into Jojo's Kitchen. An Ethiopian restaurant opened in 2022 by Johannes Asfa. Tall, gentle Jojo's restaurant was filled with Ethiopian decor. It seats more than 50 people, and is managed entirely by Jojo, his Eritrean partner and his brother. Jojo said, I came to the UK in 2008 to seek asylum. Then learned English. After working in restaurants in Addis Ababa and then London, my next step was to open my own place. I chose this area because of the multi-ethnic culture and the number of customers. He said, their gluten-free teff, an Ethiopian grain, arrives from Addis Ababa 3 times a week. As do herbs, black pepper and coffee. Sometimes we hold a traditional coffee ceremony for customers, roasting the beans in front of them, and people love the aroma. He says, there's a Turkish shop on the corner that, surprisingly, is open 365 days a year until 1 a.m. In the European neighborhood of Little Sardinia, I pass by a Sardinian restaurant followed by a classic Italian restaurant, Il Guscio. However, just before that, a great example of English entrepreneurship emerged. The Book Bar, a bookshop, cafe and wine bar where mainly young women would come to drink, read or attend a literary program by Chrissy Ryan, the shop's owner. I come to participate. Soon I reached Highbury where the pavements were empty. The atmosphere had changed, and even the name of the street. The sounds of Blackstock Road, the characters, the smells of the food and the languages brought back my nostalgia.